Hey, I'm a comedian. And fun fact about me, I'm divorced. So, ladies, come get it while it's sad. Nobody tells you this, but when you're 40 and divorced, you just kind of automatically start becoming a sleazebag. Like, your hair grows out, you grow a mustache, you start doing stand-up comedy. Nobody tells you this. But it's been fun. I like the mustache. It's fairly new, a couple weeks old. And I started to experience a few moments of mustache aura. It's been pretty dope. I was riding my bike on the path, and I was crossing the street, and some car let me go on a crosswalk. So I just gave him like a friendly nod or whatever. And the driver like stuck his hand out the window. He was like, "Mustache!" It felt pretty cool. And then I was on Atwood, and there was like the ambulance there, and they were responding to something. But I kind of like caught eyes with one of the EMTs, and he had a mustache, and we just like had this moment. We're just like looking at each other, like, "We both have a mustache, sir." And I was at Woodman's, I was buying booze, I was going through the self-checkout aisle, and it says like, "Oh, the cashier has to check your ID." So I kind of like turned around to like give her a look, and she kind of looked at me. She didn't say it out loud, but she just kind of mouthed like, "You have a mustache." Oh, I'm loving this thing. No ID? So I've had a lot of people ask me like, "What's going on with the hair, Devin? Like, it's getting a little wild, a little out of control. Like, what's the plan?" And I just kind of explained to them, like, when Michelangelo talked about sculpting the David, he said he didn't so much as sculpt the David as much as he freed him from the block of marble. I am that block of marble, everybody. And there's a David underneath, and I'm going to find him. And, even if I don't, I figure at the very least, I can put a rock-hard David inside of me, everybody. Not too hard. I was at work and I embarrassed myself recently. I said "shank you" to one of my coworkers, and I can't believe I did this. I didn't say it in like a voice. I said like, "Shank you very much," and then I stabbed them with a crude makeshift knife multiple times, which was embarrassing because turns out I'm not the sharpest toothbrush in the prison yard. So disappointing. I work with a bunch of women, and they're like the type of women who are like, "We don't like how the word moist sounds. We hate moist." So I'm like, okay, I gotta like.
Women hate moist.
They do. They hate that word apparently. So I'm like trying to figure this out. I'm like, okay, why don't you like the word moist? Like, teach me something here. And like, well, you've never been a girl in summertime. And I just kind of responded with like, well, like, swamp ass is for everybody, right? So I don't quite see what that has to do with anything. But, so then we were talking about this new high-protein ice cream that's made with cottage cheese. It's called Smear Case. They were like, "We don't like that name, Smear Case. They could have called it something else." Smear Case? I was like, yeah, what are they going to come up with next? Popsicles? They did not like that joke. Apparently women don't like hearing smear and pap too close together. I want to tell you guys my Rice Krispie story. So I had a potluck at work and I made my famous Rice Krispies. Got the ratio to like, Krispies to butter and marshmallow and sprinkles down. So like, they're pretty good. But I had like 6 left over and they're all individually wrapped. They're in a bag. And I was leaving work. And I said to one of my coworkers, I said, "I'm going to go home and I'm going to eat all these Rice Krispies." She was like, "As you should, Devin." Spoiler alert, I didn't end up eating any of those Rice Krispies. So after work, I had to go get an oil change. And so I'm at Jiffy Lube. I'm sitting in the waiting room and there's like this big like picture window looking out to like the parking lot. There's a single car parked out there. I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden I see this woman like stomp across the street and she starts screaming, "Cheater! Cheater! You're a cheater!" She starts like scratching up the car with her nails and like trying to smash in the windows and stuff. And one of my guys working on my car is like, "Hey, I'm gonna call the police. Getting distracted out here, I'm trying to work." was like, yeah, dude, you're getting distracted. Your car's getting all smashed up. And he's so eventually, it's, a 15-minute change takes like 30 minutes. They're cool, they gave me a discount. But the guy comes in, he's like, yeah, that's my baby mama. I was like, yeah, I got one of those. And another guy was like, my baby mama's Mexican. I was like, well, mine's Puerto Rican. Oh, so you know. And so as I was leaving, I had this bag of Rice Krispies. I was, I think you guys need these more than I do. And so I gave them to them, oh, thank you, but I guess I don't really have a punchline for that other than just like, it's rough out there for everybody, right? Just try to be a good human being. And shout out to my Jiffy Lube baby daddies out there. Those are my guys. Okay, I'm trying to get through a couple more here quick. I applied for a second job to be a ghost walk tour guide in downtown Madison. And so the interview process for that is this guy takes us on a practice walk. So we're downtown, he's like walking through the script, and he's like, we're gonna be presenting historical information on the buildings here. And for that, I want that to be as accurate as possible, right? But for the ghost stuff, you can just make it up. And I was like, sir, I refuse to just make up ghost stories. I will just make some ghosts. I'm gonna find somebody taking a dump and just, because unfinished business is the recipe, right? And then I got some new content for the tour. I could be like, this downtown public restroom contains a specter that cannot rest. Forever pooping. I got one more here. I meet some interesting people at work. I work as a nurse, and one of my patients says that she's a good witch and she does good spells. And I heard that she did a good spell for one of the other nurses, so I was like, I gotta get in on this good spell stuff. So I said, hey, can you do a good spell for me? Can you make me funnier? And she said, okay. I was like, all right, so do you do it now or do it later? I can do it now. You are the funniest. Blessings to you. Okay, so guess I'm funnier now, and so I've been trying to do a lot of things to improve, to get better. I'm willing to sacrifice for my comedy, starting with small animals and going large until it starts working. If you guys aren't laughing, I'm gonna have to move up to medium-sized dog. All right, that's all I got. My name's Devin Flaherty.
Yeah, Devin.
Clap again, or he will shank you and then snap your neck, apparently.